Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. I think the previous speakers set the stage quite well for me, and I think we discussed third-party certifications and how notified bodies play a role. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about enforcing the last line of conformity assessment. The content that we're going to cover today includes the value chain, the compliance life cycle, field service overview, market surveillance, and brand protection. You would find today, if you look at it, we have a lot of stakeholders in the market today. So you could go to code authorities, you have contractors, you have architects. At the same time, you have service companies, you have governments, AHJs, and at the end, you have consumers and retailers. Now, UL at the end of the day should not be just a single person there in the center. Just like us, there are other notified bodies who help enable the collaboration between all these stakeholders. Marketing wouldn't let me add somebody else on there, just so you know. Today, when we look at it, we realize that trust is eroding, and there's a lot of weight on our shoulders on how we bring this up. To give you a few examples, you see, only 3% of consumers find advertised brand claims believable. 58% of consumers believe manufacturers care more about their sales than over product safety. Now the question is, how do we bring back this trust? So let's start with the compliance life cycle. To begin with, we have testing, right? Testing can go two ways. If it's subject for a specific application, then it's only related to a test report. But if it goes down into certification, and this is where we come in, where they're actually looking for the UL mark, then they would need to obviously have one of their samples tested, and post that, if it does pass, they go ahead with the certification. Post the certification, it doesn't mean at that point, just because you passed the test, do you go ahead and you can produce. Then you have what is called the field engineering team, whose job is to do an IPI, which is an initial product investigation at the location, and we need to ensure that the file actually is in compliance before a manufacturer is allowed to even produce with the UL mark. So this is done at the manufacturing location. Post this, we have what is called a market surveillance team, and their job is very interesting, and I think that's what we've been discussing over the last hour, where they go out into the market, they look for these random products with a UL mark, and they pull it back, and they send it to our labs, and we do the test to actually check if they're compliant or not. At the same time, we work with AHJs all across the globe, and they send us complaints. We work with customers, manufacturers who send these allegations to us, and we check whether or not they're legitimate or not. And at the end, we have brand protection. And brand protection, the way they work with us is that they do not allow counterfeit products from entering any given market. So today, when we talk about the last line of conformity assessment, we're going to concentrate on these three parameters. When you look at a field service overview, and which is the team that I'm from, post the certification, we issue a first file or a first procedure to a manufacturer. Now, this document consists of everything. It could be components, specification, measurements, suppliers providing these components to the manufacturer as well. Now, what a field engineer does is he reviews the production status, the label usage records, everything towards this specific file. Sometimes you'd hear that, these inspectors, they keep coming more often than the other notified bodies as well. That's because when we believe a product is life critical or safety critical, we increase the surveillance visits at that location. So we don't believe in just once a quarter, we go even once a month as well. And finally, what's even more interesting is that most of these are unannounced, and so it's not we give a position for any manufacturer to show us a rosy picture when we get to the site, but also we just want to check their production status on a given day and see how exactly it functions. And this is also mandated by OSHA, as we are accredited by them as well. Now, let's say in a good scenario that there is no issues, there are no non-compliances, then we issue what is called an inspection report. But if in any case that you find that non-compliance, then we issue a variation notice. Now, this variation notice might sound a little harsh, where we say, we halt the process, the manufacturing process at the site. But at the same time, a lot of manufacturers are happy with us because this acts as a third-party quality check for them and helps them improve their production flow. So this, what we have covered so far, is by the field engineering team, and this is specific to a manufacturing location. Let's dive into market surveillance. So what market surveillance does for us, and what I mentioned a little while earlier, is conduct an impartial investigation of complaints. What we issue is things called PIRs, which are product incident reports, and the way we do it is like this. We may have allegations that come for the misuse of the UL mark. We may have allegations against misadvertised claims, brands, counterfeiting, and that's when the market surveillance team gets involved. What they do is, once a PIR is created, they do an independent validation. And in cases, even for us, they might be anonymous and people would not want to share their personal information. We keep it as anonymous as possible. The team conducts an investigation where they go to the site and they speak to the manufacturer in dispute. They conduct a root cause analysis, risk assessment, and finally corrective action. Now, how do we have the corrective action? So let's start at how you can even put up a PIR. On our website, we have what is called a UL Market Surveillance Report Form. You can fill this up. Anyone out here today can go to this site, and if they've ever seen anything that looks like a counterfeit label, you can fill it up yourself. Or this is also for the AHJs out there today who can do it. And at the same time, if in fact the allegation is legitimate, then we issue a public notice on our website, on social media, and at the same time, we inform the specific AHJ for that product category in that region as well. Now, to give you some data on it, since 2021, we have received around 2,500 PIRs. About 7% have been reported by the AHJs in the Middle East and Africa region, which is great, and we're looking for more of these. And specifically, from the numbers that we have right now, around 2% are from the HVAC industry. Now, there are a lot of questions that, how do I know if, in fact, it is a UL mark? Is it UL counterfeit? How does it actually work? So similar to the previous speaker, we also have a web page which is called the Product IQ, which can be seen on our resources page. You can log in. That's obviously if you've registered before. You can search for anything that you'd like. It could be a duct, it could be a damper. You can look at it, you can check the location. You'll find all the information pertinent to that manufacturer in terms of the product ranges that he has been certified against. And at the same time, you can also get the test standards as well. So this is also, useful for the contractors and the consultants because it's a good page for them to see all the manufacturers that are tested against that standard. So it's like our little Google that we have within our UL page. But just so you're aware, a lot of that information is proprietary as well. Details on product construction, test manuals, a lot of these are not shared and can be collected directly from the manufacturer. So this is how our market surveillance team works with us. And finally, we have the last line of the last line, which is brand protection. And they help ensure that counterfeit products do not enter any given market. And how do they do this? They work with all the custom bodies. They work with the authorities in the region. So we've been working with US Customs, Canadian Customs, Interpol, Europol, and a lot of authorities in this region as well. And the way we do this is also to take it a different level by sharing of knowledge. So we have partnered with Interpol, and we even have learning modules with a college, which is IIPCIC, which is the International Intellectual Property Crime Investigators College. We have had, as you can see on the screen, about 180 countries representing 975 law enforcement agencies are partnering with us on this. And in line with what we do with Interpol in our efforts for knowledge sharing, we have events with them every year since 2007, and this year we're having it in Seoul in Korea. So to give you a quick sum up of how we do it, when you look at first inspections, what we do is it's at the manufacturing location. We ensure compliance. But once it leaves the manufacturer's location, it's up to market surveillance, where they randomly go pick up samples, or at the same time, it's up to us and the AHJs we have out there who share information with us to go and check these allegations. And finally, we work with brand protection in a manner that we try to hold it like border control and prevent counterfeit products from entering or leaving a market. And to go back on what I said a little earlier about trust eroding, the basic concept is the world runs on trust. And we all need to play a part in making that happen. All right, thank you.